The following column I found recently when I was looking for a different column. I'm not sure I ever even really published it in the paper, but when I saw the title, I had to read it, and as I read it, I really liked it. It mentions Mother's Day, which isn't anywhere near Mother's Day right now, but I like the message, so I'm going to record it and read it for you. It's called Butterflies, Velcro, and Continuity. A young mother, when I asked her about her 19-month-old son, replied, "I learn something new from him every day." There's great wisdom in that comment. With Mother's Day this weekend, we honor mothers and all that they do for their children, all that they teach their children, and give up for their children. But as the wise young mother pointed out, mothers learn as much from our children and the experiences of raising them as children learn from us. Think about it, moms. What have you learned from your children, either directly or indirectly? Children teach us every day and in every imaginable way. They teach us patience. Just ask any mother waiting for her young child to learn to tie his shoes. Velcro has perhaps changed that experience for younger moms, but I suspect there are still plenty of opportunities to learn patience from young children. Children teach us to slow down and live in the moment. They help us see the wonder in the littlest creatures. My 2-year-old grandson one day, while I was cleaning up the kitchen, pointed at the kitchen window and said, "Butterfly, butterfly." I looked up from my frenzied activity of cleaning the kitchen to see a tiny little moth. "Yes, dear, that is a little butterfly," I replied as I kissed the top of his head. The experience reminded me to sometimes stop daily chores and just notice the beauty of nature, including the beauty of children. Children help us grow by teaching us to put aside our own needs to fulfill another person's needs. I have watched my son and daughter-in-law grow in maturity as they parent their 2 little ones. Recently, my son spoke at one of my friend's college classes. Afterwards, my friend emailed me about what a fine job he did and how I should be proud of him. Getting compliments about our children and our parenting of them is always nice, no matter what their age or ours. And then there are grandchildren. They truly are the best. Grandchildren remind us to appreciate the effort and time we spent raising their parents. They help us to see how future and past are tied together. It's like standing on life's path and looking both ways, ahead and behind us. We see the continuity of family, of generations loving and connecting with each other. Children remind us that our existence isn't just about us. They remind us that our connection to other human beings makes us alive and brings out the best of us. Children remind us that our genes, our talents and abilities, our strengths and our weaknesses, and most of all our love and connection, continue long after our physical bodies have left this earth. My husband often commented after attending a community gathering in his small hometown about the younger versions of the people he grew up with, their children, and now even their grandchildren. The grandchildren and children's look, their mannerisms, even the way they laugh, are simply new adaptation of their parents and grandparents, the people that my husband grew up with. We can never totally escape the influence of those past generations, and hopefully we don't want to escape it, or not most of the time anyway. It's reassuring to me when I look at my grandchildren to know that they are a continuation of all the past generations. They aren't exactly like any of us, but when I see my husband's one-sided dimple repeated in my son's and grandson's smile, I know there's goodness in the continuity of life. Just as children can't escape the influence of past generations, try though they might, especially when they're teenagers. We can't escape the influence of them, try as we might when they're teenagers. It is this it is this exchange of learning and connecting between generations that keeps families, communities, indeed our very cultures, both stable and dynamic. As children and grandchildren remind us to be patient, to slow down, we teach them the skills and self-discipline to succeed in life, at least hopefully. We are getting those lessons through. I re-experienced the joy of reading a storybook that I used to feel when I was reading one to my children, as my grandson's small body cuddles next to me and strokes my hand. They help me re-feel the joy of my children's giggling as we play the game of Catch Me Mama and Papa. A deep contentment and warmth comes over me as I watch my serious, hard-working husband be silly and playful with his grandchildren. Children remind us of the best of life, of the best in others, and most important, of the best in ourselves. Yes, Mother's Day is a day for honoring mothers, and it's good we have it. But it's also for honoring the little people who let us experience mothering them. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying that all year round. As I honor my mother and mother-in-law on Mother's Day, I also want to thank future generations who helped me grow as a mother and now as a grandmother. So for goodness sakes, please remember to appreciate the past and the future generations and the lessons that you learn from them.